My wife read your book.
I didn't answer that.
No, my wife read your book and she said, what an attractive man. How do you deal with female adulation?
That's why I covered myself.
No, no. I'm curious to know.
The thing is, this is a very human ailment that all the time we have to recognize people by their gender. No other creature has this problem. All other creatures on the planet, when their hormones rise, they know who is female, who is male. Otherwise, they're just there. Human beings have got this ailment. 24 hours, 365 days, they can't think of anything other than body parts. So I don't see any females or males, I just see wonderful people, so I have no issues.
Okay. There's a very intriguing… people make these great prophecies about world coming to an end, etc. Will the world come to an end in 2012?
So all those people who firmly believe that the world is going to come to an end the coming year, what date do they know?
We are in September 20…
No, do they know what date it will come to?
No date mentioned. There was a date mentioned last year.
Okay.
We've crossed that, thank God.
What I would tell them is, we have a lot of work to do. I have lots of work to do. 2013, 1st January, because anyway 2012 the world is going to end. On 2013, 1st January, all your wealth and money and everything, please write it to Isha Foundation, there's work to do. The world is anyway going to end, what are you going to do with your money? So for them this is just an entertainment. They don't believe enough to give away everything and get ready. They just want to play with it. All vain minds are always looking at prophecies. They're looking at predictions because they don't have a plan for their life. Those who are incapable of making plans always fall back on predictions and prophecies.
Yeah, but I will just request to give me 2% of that money that goes to your foundation. Why have you named your foundation Isha Foundation? I have no idea.
The name, you mean?
The name Isha Foundation.
The word Isha literally means that which is in charge, or that which is the source of creation, or unmanifest or formless divinity is referred to as Isha. If you give it a form, it becomes Ishwar. So, the yogic system is not looking at form. We are not against forms. We can use forms as a part of our growth. But essentially, the existence, the whole existence, if you look at it, not a single piece of creation, not a single atom in the existence can happen without the hand of the Creator in it. So, the forms are there. Every form can be seen as divine, but essentially it is formless. So to attain to that, the yoga is the method to attain to that. So right now as you sit here, this very body was created from within, so the source of creation is very much within you. So to attain to that state is the fundamental goal, so it is Isha Yoga and Isha Foundation.
Okay. Do you pray?
Till now I haven't. I have
So
not had the need to pray.
Do you believe that there is a God?
Let's come to this. Before we handle God, let's handle belief first. Why do you believe something? One believes something because they are not sincere enough to admit that they do not know. There are only two ways to be. Either you know something or you do not know something. But whatever you do not know, when you bullshit yourself, it's called as belief. Instead of simply admitting, I do not know, you want to believe something. Somebody believes there is God, somebody believes there is no God. Both are in the same boat. They think they're different, but both of them are not straight enough to admit that they do not know. What is the problem in seeing what I do not know as I do not know? They have a problem because they do not understand the immensity of I do not know. I do not know is a tremendous possibility. Only if you see I do not know, the possibility of knowing arises within you. If you see I do not know, the longing to know will come. If the longing comes, seeking will come. If seeking comes, the possibility is alive in your life. Everything that you do not know, if you believe, you're destroying the very possibility of knowing. So coming to God, there are various kinds of beliefs across the world. It's like this. There were two young boys, very energetic. When young boys are very energetic, they tend to be constantly in trouble, you know. So these two kids are always in trouble, two brothers. The parents are very embarrassed that the whole neighborhood is discussing their children. They want to fix them. It's easy to reproduce, but you don't know how to fix your children, do you? So they decided to take them to the local parish priest. They decided to take the younger boy first because together they're strong. They took the young boy, made him sit in the priest's office and they left. The priest walked in. With his long robes, he walked up and down, creating the necessary drama, you understand? Because drama is needed for effect.
Absolutely.
So he was setting up…
We are on the stage.
Yes. He was setting up the situation and the little boy was doing the ping-pong act, watching the priest moving around. And in mid-stride, he worked out a strategy. If I remind this little fellow that God is within him, all his mischief will go. This is the whole problem. People who have never raised children, they have fabulous ideas about how to do it. People who have raised children, they know no damn idea works. If you have the love and commitment, you wait out the problems, otherwise you suffer. That's all there is.
But I think maybe when people are enlightened, they don't think that there is a God existing.
No.
There are people who are not enlightened. There are people who don't have enough money to sort of… they have to depend on somebody. They say that…
Let me finish the joke.
Sorry?
Let me finish the joke.
Okay. My problem is that I can't hear you what you are saying. There is something with with the speaker.
The monitors, please, if you can do something.
No, I need to do something about this because I'm not able to hear what you are saying.
Okay.
So, I don't know how do we go about it. Some speaker has to turn this side so that I can hear what exactly are you saying. So is there anybody from the technical team who can do that?
Turn the music monitors this side, please. Yeah, is it good? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So the priest worked out a strategy, how to get the mischief out of this boy. He thought if he reminds him God is within him, all the mischief will go. So he stopped mid-stride and in a booming voice he said, "Where is God?" The boy looked bewildered, looked all over the office because if God is, he must be somewhere in the priest's office. So then the priest saw the boy not getting the point. So he leaned on the table. He wants to give him a clue. So pointing at the little boy, he asked, "Where is God?" The boy looked even more bewildered and looked under the table. Then the priest thought, okay, he's not getting it, he wants to give him a proper clue. So he walked around the table, came to the boy, tapping on the little boy's chest. He asked, "Where is God?" He's telling him it's here. The boy just got up and bolted out of the room, ran to the place where his elder brother was, and he said, "We are in real trouble." The brother asked, "Why, what happened?" He said, "They lost their God and they think we did it." So, there are belief systems and belief systems and belief systems. But at the same time, the idea of God is universal. Why this has come is, see, the moment you're born, you look around, there is so much creation. You need an explanation. So you look at your mother thinking she could have done it. Well, she delivered you, but she can't do the planet, you know. You look at your father, he doesn't look like that. You look at many other adults, they don't look like that. So you need an answer. You ask somebody who's little larger than you. Instantly they say, there is somebody up there who is doing all this. But see, we are sitting in a round planet, aren't we? Are we? We're sitting in a round planet, not even in the North Pole, at a certain latitude, and the planet is spinning. If you look up, you obviously look up in the wrong direction. Every time you thought Upar Wala and looked up, you're completely looking in the wrong direction. I don't know how many prayers went waste like this. But at the same time, there is creation. There is something which is the source of creation. Because we are not able to nail it as to what it is, because we are human, we give it a human form. If we were buffaloes, I'm sure we would have thought it's a big buffalo, for sure. Because we are human, we think it's a big man or a big woman or whatever. So, it is perfectly all right for people to create a god. This is the thing about this culture. Here we have 33 million gods and goddesses. Because this is the only culture which understood God is our making. There's something called as Ishta Devata. You can create your own god today. If you can look at all the existing gods, if you don't like them, you can make your own god. A tree in your garden, a rock in your garden, your mother, your wife, anybody you want, or whatever you want. You like this vessel, you can make this your god. Nobody thinks anything weird about it in this country because we understand this is our making. After all, in every piece of creation, the hand of the Creator is there. Whatever you can relate to, you use that, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's why we worship stones. We want
No,
to…
we don't worship stones. We worship the source of creation in the stone, which is a piece of creation.
We also want to have the… I don't want to argue on this. So, do you think all our epics, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Shankar, Ram, Sita, they are fake?
No, they have a historicity.
Okay.
There are buildings to prove that they were there. It's still in dispute. The dispute is on means they were definitely there, isn't it?
Okay. Kiranji, namaskar. No, I will still want to probe a little further on this topic. We have major mandir, masjid issue, Ayodhya issue, etc., etc. We are still fighting about that. So, why is all that fighting going on? If there is no God, or if there is a
I did not
belief.
say that.
No, you said there is a belief, people needed somebody as a belief of God.
All the fight in the world is not between good and evil as people project it to be. All the fight in the world is between one man's belief versus another man's belief. If you saw, I really do not know, you wouldn't fight with anybody. Because you believe one thing and somebody believes something else, you're invariably going to fight today or tomorrow. It's just a question if you can manage them for some time. Someday it'll spill out on the street. So, it is time. See, there was a time when people worked with the instrument of belief, when the human intellect was in a certain way. Today it is time, there is substantial intellect on the planet. Today it is time that we establish a certain level of seeking in a human being rather than just pumping him up with belief.
Why do people believe you?
Who said they believe me?
This is a huge full house.
No, they're looking…
Everybody is
they're
clapping.
sitting there evaluating every word that I say. I don't think they believe whatever I say. To me, they look smart enough to understand and evaluate.
I have performed in this auditorium, it's never been so full. So there has to be some in their belief in you which makes them look up at you. Why do they trust you? Why do they believe in you so much?
Now let's take off the word believe. Yes, they trust me.
Okay, I mean my word may be different, but I think it is belief. Do you think it is belief also? Okay, just a minute. Give me some. People who think over here that you have full belief in Sadhguru, raise your hands. There are some people, okay. Okay, Kiranji is also one of them. Do you think that Sadhguru has powers which you don't have?
They can't ride a motorcycle like me, I'm sure.
What are those powers? What makes you different? What makes you special? What makes Pallavi Gupta writing a book on you and calling it you? What makes her change her life? What makes people over here, so many people I know who will not come to a function like this, they are here and they are here on time. What is it in you that makes you different?
Because they know if they don't come on time, I won't let them in.
But they dare not do that. So what makes you different? Also, I read in the book that at the age of 9 or 10, you wanted to find out things. You got hold of snakes, you went into the darkness, you went into the cycle and you wanted to see whether the cycle, you fall down from a ditch. Today, if any 10-year-old child will start doing it, he said, I'm going to ape Sadhguru because he did that. I don't think any of the mothers are going to let them do that. So what is it which is so special about you?
It is not special. It is just that, there was a time when we were promoting Isha Yoga, we used to print a brochure and it said, ordinary to extraordinary.
Okay.
So they come day 1, day 2, day 3, and we are teaching them some basic fundamentals of their life that they've missed, for sure. Simple things. And then they asked Sadhguru, you said we will become extraordinary. We thought we'll become extraordinary or we will become special. I said, I never said you will become special, I said you will become extraordinary. More ordinary than others. Everybody is desperately trying to be special. When you don't try to be special, when you just live as life is, that you don't try to make yourself special, because wanting to be special is coming from a certain an emptiness or a certain inadequacy within a human being. Where is the need to be special? Every human being is unique in his own way. If he tries to be special, he'll only end up aping somebody, he will not be himself. So, when the life is unique, every leaf on the planet is unique, every atom in the existence is unique, where is the need for you to be special? Being unique is better than being special, isn't it? So what is different? It is not a question of something being different, it is just this. See, the very nature of the existence is like this, the very nature of what's happening around you is like this. If you convert food, if you convert mud into food, we call this agriculture. It's the same mud. Can you eat the mud? Can you take it on your plate and eat it? No. But if you wait, you put a seed and wait, the same mud becomes food, and how we value it and eat it. But it is something else, but when you eat it, it becomes flesh and bone, it becomes you, and it's so valuable for you and so many other people. So this is the way of the life. What is filth will become a flower, if only you mature it in the right direction. This flower, its beauty and its fragrance comes from filth. The more filth you put at the root, better the flowers will grow. So, the question is not about what is different, the question is not about what is special, the question is just about, will you allow yourself to mature or will you let yourself just roll in filth?
You have not yet answered my question. I feel that it's important for me to know.
Yes, right
now.
What
is unique about you? What you said is fantastic, because that's what we all know means,
no, why is it that we've kept the flowers here, not a lump of earth? Simply because it's the same thing, but it's flowered, that's why you keep it here. That's all with me.
So, you do admit that you are special?
I'm flowered, not special.
Okay, let's not go by the words.
You're waiting, others are still waiting.
So, when did you feel that you were different, unique, special, whatever word you want to choose? When did you feel, at what stage of your life you felt that you wanted to share your knowledge with the people? And when did you feel that you want to tell the people that there is something ordinary and there is something extraordinary?
See, it's like this. When I was 3.5, 4 years of age, I realized one thing, that I do not know anything. I just do not know anything. To such an extent, if somebody gives me a glass of water, I keep staring at this water for 3-4 hours at a stretch. If I find a leaf, I'm looking at it for 6-7 hours at a stretch. If I sit up in the bed staring at the darkness, I sit like this the whole night. Now, what is happening with me is just this. I do not know what water is. I know that if I drink it, it'll quench my thirst. But even today, do you know what water really is? You do not know. With all this science, have we understood even a single atom of creation in its entirety? We have not. So if I look at the water, I still do not know this, so I did not know how to shift my attention to something else. I would just be stuck with this. In this condition, they sent me to school.
Yes, I read that quote of about you going to the school.
So I went and stared, paying absolute attention to the teachers. The kind of attention nobody would have paid them, total attention. Initially I heard their words, I understood what they were saying. After some time, I realized they were only making sounds, I was making up the meanings in my head. Even now, I'm only making sounds. Because you assume you know English language, you're making up the meanings, isn't it?
I am trying to.
If I suddenly speak in Tamil or Telugu or something, I would be just making sounds as far as you're concerned. So once I realized that they're only making sounds, I'm making up the meanings, I stopped making meanings. I just looked at them. Suddenly the whole thing became so amusing, somebody going on making noises. So a big smile spread on my face. They were not amused. So after some time, I wouldn't even hear the sounds. I would just see all kinds of, things, reverberations happening around the teacher. After some time, I wouldn't even see them. I wouldn't know that they exist, but I would be still staring. So my schooling passed like this. So about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, this school where I studied over 4 decades ago, they came to invite me for their 125th anniversary. They were inviting all the prominent alumni of the school. So they came and invited me. I said, see, why me? Because I was not just a not good student, I was not even a student. I only went there when it was really necessary. So they said, no, our school has produced union ministers, our school has produced film stars, our school has produced cricket stars, you are the only mystic, you have to come. So I went. So I went and stood up in the quadrangle to speak the same oppressive buildings, and I looked at this classroom, suddenly this came back to my memory. I was 11 or 12 years of age. As usual, I was paying absolute attention to the teacher, but I don't hear a word of what he says. So teacher is trying to get a response from me. 35-40 minutes he tried very hard. He couldn't get a word out of me because I don't hear what he's saying. Then he held me by the shoulders, shook me violently and said, you must either be the divine or the devil. I think you're the later. So till then my problem was, what is this, what is that, what is that, what is this? I knew nothing. But there was one constant, this is me. This was clear. Suddenly this guy confused me. Is this divine, is this devil, what the hell is this? So I tried to stare at this. I couldn't, so I closed my eyes and sat. When I just sat there staring, my dear father, being a physician, he started thinking I need psychiatric evaluation. So the moment I closed my eyes and sat, the same people who thought I need psychiatric evaluation started saying he's becoming a yogi. I'm telling you the secret.
Okay.
I was staring at somebody, they thought I need psychiatric evaluation, I was staring at something or somebody. The moment I start staring at myself, they said he's a yogi. So I started staring at myself with my eyes closed, looking for hours on end, days on end. Then, I got into my youth and so many things happened, finished my university somehow and got into a business, and one afternoon, I come from Mysore, where at least at that time the tradition was like this. If we want to test our motorcycles, we ride up Chamandi Hill.
Yes.
You've been there?
Yes.
If you want to trek, we go up Chamandi Hill. If you want to have a party, we go up Chamandi Hill. If you fall in love, we go up Chamandi Hill. If you fall out, you have to go. If you have something to do, you have to go up Chamandi Hill. If you have nothing to do, that's a place. So one afternoon I had nothing to do, so I rode up Chamandi Hill, parked my vehicle there and climbed up to a place. I know this place, the whole hill very, very well. So I sat on a rock, my eyes were open. I did not even close my eyes. Till that moment I always thought, this is me, that is somebody else. I have no issue with that somebody, but this is me, that's somebody else. Suddenly I did not know which is me and which is not me. What was me was just all over the place. The very air that I breathe, the rock that I sit on, the atmosphere around me, just everything was me. I thought this madness lasted for about 5–10 minutes, but when I came back to my normal senses, 4.5 hours had passed. For the very first time in my adult life, tears were flowing. Me and tears were impossible. I looked like this. My shirt is wet, to that extent tears are flowing. I've always been happy and peaceful, that's never been an issue. But every cell in my body was bursting with ecstasy. I did not know what hit me. When I shake my skeptical head and try to figure what's happening, the only thing that my mind could tell me is maybe I'm going off my rocker. The closest friends around me, when I said, something is happening to me, look at me, they said, what did you drink? What did you take? This is all they could ask. So, I did not know what I hit. I did not know what happened to me. All I knew is, I have hit a gold mine, I don't want to lose it. So if I sat down, I would be just simply dripping ecstasy like this. To a point, I think it's 2 minutes, 7 hours, 8 hours have gone. Once I sat down like this, and I thought it's 25–30 minutes. And when I opened my eyes, there were garlands around me, people pulling my legs, Indian tradition. And somebody asking how to do his business, somebody asking when his daughters will get married. And I thought, what happened? Where did these people come from? I have been sitting there for 13 days. I thought it's 25–30 minutes.
Oh.
Because I just lost sense of time. If I sit like this, time just flies off. You must know this, every human being knows this by their experience. See, on a particular day, if you're extremely happy, that day just flies like a moment.
Correct, absolutely.
If you're depressed, one day flies like an eon.
Correct.
Isn't it? So if you're absolutely ecstatic, you will see hours and days will slip like moments. You won't know any sense of time. And body will not know, mind will not know. It just… only people around you know that time has passed, but you just have no consciousness about time. So, then I thought it's so simple. If I sit here, I'm bursting in ecstasy. What's the problem? I'm going to rub it off on the whole world. It's 30 years now. Next year, 2012 is going to be 30 years. And see, I became like this. Still, people are attached to their misery, they haven't given it up. We have touched a few million people. Today I can say that a few million people, if they close their eyes, tears of ecstasy will flow out of them every day. They're like that, millions of them. But millions are not still the world. So as a part of this, now I decided, if people don't want to live in ecstasy, at least let them die in peace. So we brought in another level of spiritual process, very simple, that everybody can do, one drop spirituality for everybody. At least it'll let them die in peace.
How do you… that was a wonderful story what you just spoke about, tears. How do you explain, if you have to explain spirituality to a common man who does not understand, how do you explain what is it being spiritual?
See, what is physical about you? You gathered, isn't it? You gathered over a period of time.
Yeah.
What you gather can be yours. I'll not dispute that now.
Okay.
But it can never ever be you, isn't it?
Okay, if you can simplify that for me.
See, right now, as I'm speaking, I take this vessel and say, this is my vessel. all of them will think, oh, Sadhguru's got a problem. But I have a reputation of being wise, so they will wait. Let's see. But after some time I say, this is me, then they'll say, let's go. Because this is a clear sign of insanity. This is happening to you every day. See now that water, is that you?
I feel like doing this.
That water, it's not you, but you drink it and it becomes you, isn't it? So what is not you is becoming you. What is not you cannot become you. You believe it's become you.
Okay. How many… Sorry, you were about to say something.
Now what you gather, you can claim it's mine. But if you say it's me, it amounts to madness, isn't it? If I say this vessel is me, it amounts to madness. This vessel also was dug out of this planet, this also was dug out of this planet, isn't it? But you saying this is me, is it any better than me saying this is me? It's not any better. It's just that because we are in a democracy, the majority is with you, so you win.
Correct, absolutely. So, why are people unhappy?
Huh?
Why are people unhappy?
People are unhappy because they have not taken charge of the fundamental instruments of life that's given to them. It's like this. See, your system is made in such a way, this is the most sophisticated machine on the planet, yes?
Yes.
Human mechanism is the most sophisticated, complex machine on the planet. This is the gadget. People have not paid any attention to it. If it seems the cell phone companies in the country did a survey 2 years ago and they found, at least one company did, I think, they found most people are using only 7% of the capabilities of an ordinary cell phone. I'm not talking about a smartphone that you're using, the dumb phone. They're using only 7% of that. If you're using only 7% of an average phone, this gadget, which produces that gadget, what do you think is the percentage that you're using? It's way below 1%, I'm telling you. What it means to be human has not even been attended to. People have not even looked at it. They're just busy wanting to become something, not realizing who they are. When the very source of creation is throbbing within you, there is an intelligence here, there is a competence here that if you give it a piece of bread, it will transform it into a sophisticated machine. When such an intelligence exists within you, when such a competence exists within you, what the hell are you trying to become? If even a drop of this intelligence enters your daily life, you will live magically, not miserably. So misery is not a product of Mumbai. The misery manufacturing machine is not in Mumbai. The manufacturing unit is in human mind, because they have not made any attempt to understand how it works. They have not paid any attention. They're paying attention to everything around them, not to this one. But this is the greatest happening right now, isn't it? The greatest happening in your life is that you're alive and throbbing right now. Isn't this the greatest thing? Everything else is secondary, isn't it?
I completely believe it. You see, in Greek theatre, they said that fate, Kismat played very important role in your tragedy. But in modern tragedy, they say human beings are responsible themselves for tragedy.
There's nothing modern about it. In this culture, we always said your life is your karma. When we said your life is your karma, what it means is, karma means action. Whose action? My action. So when I say life is your karma, we are saying your life is your doing. This is the only place on the planet where we have always told you, your life is your making. Your life is not God's making. Your life is your making. When we say it is your karma, we clearly telling you your life is your making. So right now, your experience of life, whether you experience joy or misery, it happens from within you, isn't it? At least what happens within you must be determined by you, isn't it? What happens around you? Too many people are there. You have to take their help. But what happens within you must be determined by you. If you're miserable, what it means is, even what happens within you is enslaved to something around you. And people think it's normal. It's not normal, it's just insane. Only thing is you gathered numbers. You understand? You gathered numbers. In an asylum, the insane people look right. They're right, isn't it? See, it is all happening from within you. Both misery and joy happening from within you. If it's happening from within you, why is what you want not happening? If what you wanted happened to you, would you choose misery or ecstasy? I'm asking you. For sure. Pleasantness or unpleasantness? At most pleasantness, at least for yourself. What you want for your neighbor may be debatable. What you want for yourself is the highest level of pleasantness, isn't it? If it's not happening, it is not because of this and that. It is just that your body is not taking instructions from you, your mind is not taking instructions from you, your emotions are not taking instructions from you. Nothing in this is taking instructions from you. When you say, this is my body, it is supposed to take instructions from you. When you say, this is my mind, it's supposed to take instructions from you. Can I tell you a joke? You're getting very serious.
Please.
On a certain day, Shankaran Pillai went to the bar to drink with his friends. He just thought he'll just have one shot and go home. But you know, once they have a little bit of drink, they become timeless like yogis. So, a few drinks happened, then he looked at the watch like this. It was 2 a.m. But the wife's rule at home is 8 p.m., he must be home. It's 2 a.m. He got really disturbed and he wanted to rush back home, so he thought he'll find a shortcut and started running through somebody's garden. And because of unknown terrain and also
Drunk.
all the things inside, he flipped over and fell into a rose bush, face down, got all scratched up, somehow found his way to the house. It took another 20 minutes to find the keyhole. He found that and just slowly crawled up and went into the bathroom and looked at himself. He looked a true mess. So he opened the medicine cabinet and wiped himself, took Band-Aid, fixed himself, then slowly crawled into the bed and slept. Morning 8 o'clock, the wife brought a bucket full of cold water, threw it on him and asked him to wake up. He got up. She said, "You fool, once again drinking." He said, "No, honey, since I promised you 6 months ago, I haven't touched a drop." She held him by the shirt, dragged him into the bathroom and showed him. All the Band-Aid was on the mirror. Now, this is the attitude people are taking. Right now, if this is feeling unpleasant, you want to fix that one. No, no, no. If this is feeling unpleasant, you need to fix this one, not that one.
There is a beautiful shairi on this, what you narrated just now. I must share it with me. It says that umr bhar यूं ही गलतियां करते रहे, उम्र भर यूं ही गलतियां करते रहे, धूल चेहरे पर लगी थी, हम आईना साफ करते रहे. Thank God he admitted some things he does not understand.
It's the language, not the poetry.
I feel very proud to be an Indian, and I'm sure a lot of people feel. But corruption bothers me, and I'm sure you also spoke about it. How do you think spirituality can help get rid of corruption to some extent?
So let's understand this corruption, because it's a very important thing that everybody understands this properly in its right perspective, rather than reacting against a bunch of people who are in an advantageous position, okay? Why I want you to understand this is because for the first time in the history of independent India, these 64 years, that means 2 generations of people, they have at least 50 to 60% of them have had such a bad deal. Today, you and me will talk all this and go home and eat well.
Correct.
There's a whole bunch of people, almost 400 million people, who cannot do that. So, if we handle the next 5 to 10 years right, we can change that. It's a tremendous possibility which is on our threshold. There's an economic possibility sitting on the threshold. If we conduct this right, we can change their lives. Those people who have not eaten properly, those children who are malnourished, which have the highest level of malnourishment, those who are not educated, those who don't have opportunities, those who are in that horrible social and economic pit, their lives can change in the next 5 to 10 years if we conduct our act right. Every Indian should understand this. It is not just about economy means stock market. It is about hungry people who will have food on their plate. Economy does not mean stock market, economy does not mean foreign cars coming into India, economy does not mean you wear better clothes or this and that. Improving economy means there will be no hungry children in the country, which is something all of us should do something about. And that possibility is being jeopardized. Wherever I go, I speak to various economic and political leaders around the world, everybody says, we want to come to India, India is a big possibility, but the humiliation of corruption, we can't bear it. Because it's not just about money, they're willing to pay a percentage and get the work done, but the humiliation that they put through on a daily basis, which we have gotten used to, they're not willing to go through that. They said, it doesn't matter if we don't do business, but we don't want to come there and go through all that rubbish. So, this possibility is being jeopardized by a handful of people, or it is wrong to say it's a handful of people, it's a nation full of corruption.
Correct.
Because how many people in Mumbai streets, if there is no policeman, will stop at the red light? I think only 10% will stop. So these 90% are corrupt people. If you make them the chief ministers and prime ministers, you know what they will do? So instead of just calling it by one bad word called corruption, we need to understand, we as a society are trying to move from a feudalistic way of managing our lives to a democratic way. The democratic way has still not sunk into us. Suppose you become the chief minister of this state. Your relatives and your friends will expect that you do something for them. If you become the chief minister and you're very strict and you will not yield to any nepotism, they'll think, what is this? He's my brother, he became chief minister, look at him, he doesn't look at me. He does not understand you're being straight, you're doing something for the country. So I'm saying in our psyche, we are still feudalistic in nature, but we are trying to run a democracy. Democracy will not happen with an active sense of education as to what is democracy, what is the power of democracy, what it means, what is the responsibility of living in a democratic society. This has not been done. We just took democracy from the British and we think if they just put their vote and get their fingers dirty once in 5 years, everything is settled. No, we have not educated people. We are still a feudalistic society acting to be democratic. So, many people, the corrupt people, the very, very corrupt people in the country, I have met them, they're bewildered. Why are people upset? I'm only doing for my family. This is just a little bit of misunderstanding about Einstein's theory of relativity. You know, Einstein said everything is relative. They misunderstood relatives are everything.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Hypothetical question, I must announce that before that. Suppose you were made the Prime Minister of this country for 1 month, how will you change things?
See, there are enough instruments in the democratic process. Making me or anybody a Prime Minister for 1 month is a cruel thing.
Okay, for 5 years.
Yes.
So you admit that 1 month is not sufficient?
No, because 1 month is a very cruel joke. It doesn't matter who comes to power for 1 month, he can't do anything in a nation as diverse as India. To get this nation moving, you need to understand this. You cannot move this nation with policy, with rules. You can only move this nation When anything that you want to achieve in this country, you make it a movement. If you do not make it a movement, if people do not emotionally connect to that, no rules, no policy is going to work in this country. It is only people who have been implanted from somewhere, who have not grown up with Indian people, who do not understand this. They think if you make a rule, everything is going to work. This is not Switzerland. If you announce on the notice board, everybody will follow. Here you have to make a movement out of it. You have to make emotionally… people connect emotionally to what needs to be achieved. If you are not able to do that, nothing is ever going to happen. So, whoever becomes the Prime Minister, I don't want to imagine myself there.
Okay. What do you think should be done?
It can be very easily done. There are examples of states which are going leaps and bounds ahead. If you saw Bihar just 10 years ago, it was just… I've driven through Bihar just wanting to see what Bihar is. It just looked like Afghanistan, large parts of it.
Correct.
Today things are happening.
Absolutely.
Wonderful things are happening. Just one man. Things are happening in Gujarat, just one man.
Absolutely.
So can't we produce 25 men or women like that in this country for every state? Are we so impotent that we cannot produce 25 human beings with some integrity who will do something straight for this nation? And today you don't have to do much. India is sitting on a boom time. You just have to manage a few things and let it happen, that's all. You just have to see that economic process do not go out of control. You just have to manage that, you don't have to do anything. It's boom time, the whole world is looking towards you. The only two economies everybody is banking on is right now China and India. India is better equipped because it's a democracy, because all the numbers are scrutinized, but what is in China cannot be scrutinized, so many people are very suspicious and fearful because it's supported by the government. India has a proper corporate structure, India has a reliable stock market which is a reading, Indian market is open, you can study what you want, you know where you're putting your money. So definitely India would be a natural destination for every investor in the world. Only thing is they're afraid of our
system.
Corruption, not the system. They like our system. Our corruption…
Corrupt system.
System is not corrupt.
Corruption.
Corruption. The reason it's the people who are
he
manning it.
He has a way of making me say things that he wants me to say.
No, the people who are manning it. People who are manning it are the problem.
But how do we find them? You mentioned two states. You mentioned Gujarat and you mentioned Bihar. And strangely, they are not the states which we have in the center. So how do we… are we politically corrupt, politically completely bankrupt? How do we do that?
No. It is only because common people are not participating in the democratic process.
Yes.
Participating in the democratic process does not just mean once in 5 years you cast your vote. Most people don't even do that. But I'm saying even if you do that, that is not enough. Democracy is an active sport, it's not a spectator sport. You can't sit back and say, let somebody do democracy. Democracy means you are the boss, you can't sleep on it. You have to be active to everything around you. If you do not bring that consciousness in people, that awareness and activism in people, it'll not work. At the same time, for everything you protest, for everything you call a bandh, for everything, it's our culture. People have understood the technology of how to stop the nation, bandh, hartal. But how to run the nation, it's a different technology. If you want to become a neta tomorrow, you don't have to create anything, do you understand? All you have to do is, I'm sure you have enough fans in Mumbai, take 1,000 people and block the ceiling. It's a new road.
That's it.
Just block it, you will become a neta. You don't have to build the ceiling to become a neta. If you build, you will be in lots of trouble. If you block it, you are there.
How do you retain… how does one in today's time, in these times, retain a certain amount of innocence, a certain amount of sense of wonder? How does one do that? Especially this is for parents whose children do not have that, unfortunately.
See, now there are two things you said, wonder and innocence. Wonder does not necessarily come from innocence.
Okay.
See, for example, science, modern science, has done phenomenal amount of exploration. They've gone to places They've gone into things that we would have never thought possible, all kinds of things. When you were a child, you definitely looked up at the sky, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Did you ever count the stars?
I used to do that in Simla, there was nothing to do.
How far did you go?
Oh, no, nothing. I could not go beyond 100 or 200.
So I meticulously sat down on the terrace, counting, trying to make, segments of the sky and trying to count. I've gone up to 1700, and then you get mixed up. What was there is not there, what was not there has come, it gets all mixed up. But today, that itself was wonder. 1700 just blew my mind. Today scientists are telling you there are over 100 billion galaxies, not stars, 100 billion galaxies. So as you explore, as you know, the wonder will increase because you realize the nature of the existence, then wonder will just explode. Scientists are so freaked now, they don't know where to go, which direction to go, because wherever they look, it is looking deeper and deeper than ever it was. Something as simple, just on your facial skin right now, there are 18 billion organisms. Do you know this? Don't imagine them, they're actually there. But you can't see them, that's good. I'm saying as we look closer at life, it's just exploding into wonder. So wonder is gone not because of lack of innocence or because of innocence, because what we call as knowledge, stupid conclusions about life. Today people are carrying their attention deficiency like a qualification. See, existence will yield to you only if you pay attention to something. Anything in this existence will yield to you only if you pay substantial attention to it. But now people have become like this. They can't look at anything, everything is check. Now in this condition, there will be no wonder, only conclusions in your head. There is no perception, there is only, monologues going on in your head. There is no perception. If there is perception, all noise in your head will just stop. If you're looking at something absolutely beautiful and engaging, everything stops. Why people are enjoying your cinema is just this, you switch off the lights, they focus on the thing for those whatever few minutes or 90 minutes or whatever, their usual monologues are gone, something else is happening. They don't know what's the next scene or whatever which keeps them on. But the important thing is their attention is engaged continuously, which makes them feel something has happened to them today, going to the cinema hall. If you just keep the lights on, you will see cinema will not be effective. Or if somebody is talking to them, it'll not be effective. They just sit there like this. It is the attention which is making the difference. It is not what's playing on the screen. It is what is playing on the screen is instrumental in grabbing the attention. But it is the attention, continuous attention, which is making the experience of being there. So, this is a rudimentary form of meditation. It's called dharana.
It's mentioned in the 7 different forms. So how does one in today's time retain that attention span?
One simple thing is, if I say yoga, that will be a bad thing because it's like I'm promoting it. No. Everybody must do something about themselves. Every child, every school should bring this dimension that a child is required to pay attention to something continuously. It could be music, it could be dance. See, you cannot do music or dance unless you pay attention to it, You'll make a fool of yourself if you do not pay enough attention. But you can pass an examination without attention.
Yeah.
Understand?
That's right.
Above all, I've seen this simple thing. Children came to us, we have a Isha home school, which is done in a very different way. I one day went to the assembly, all these 6.5-year-old kids, they're all like this. I said, why are the kids like broken tops? Why are they shaking around like this? Then I just brought this thing, simply every day in the morning, Sari Gama Pada Nisa, 15 minutes, everybody must do. You go there after 2 months, they're all sitting like this. That's all it takes. If you just make them walk in the forest in the night, one night, okay? In the darkness, you just make them walk, you will see they will become like this. Their ability to pay attention will become like that. Their sense of wonder will explode. You just take them into the jungle, make them walk for a night without torches, without cell phones, without anything, in a protected atmosphere, you will see within one night, there'll be a tremendous transformation in the sense of wonder in the child's life. But we are making them physically incapable of these things. Sitting just in front of the computer, they're becoming physically incapable. When physically it hurts, they will protest, they'll not do anything. So it's something that parents must take care of. Bringing up your child does not mean just sending him to school and getting marks and grades and nonsense. Your child in body and mind should grow up to full capabilities. That is when it will manifest in his life as success. Just marks will not manifest as success.
For that, parents also have to be…
Of course.
Peaceful and restful. Do you get angry?
You want me to right now? It's not that I'm incapable of anger, I'm capable of everything. It is just that I have not given this privilege to anybody that they can make me angry, they can make me happy, they can make me unhappy, they can make me miserable. I have not given this privilege to anybody. If somebody need to be shouted at, boom, I'll go.
So what makes you angry?
It doesn't make me angry. If they need a shouting, I'll give it to them. See, there are different kinds of people in the world. There is somebody here, if I just look at them, they'll understand why they're being looked at. There's somebody else here, if you look at them, they'll just stare back at you. If you tell them gently, they will understand. There is somebody here, if you tell them gently, they won't get it, you have to shout at them. There's somebody else here, even if you shout, they won't get it, you have to knock them on the head and tell them. Different levels of sensitivity in the world. Your action should be appropriate to the situation in which you exist. I am not bound like this, I will not say this, I will be gentle, I will be nice, I have no such things. I am just appropriate to the situations in which I exist. What you need, I will do. If you need only shouting, I will do. What's my problem?
What's your shortcoming?
Huh? My shortcoming is, I'm not tall enough.
You're the tallest man right now you're here. We know that.
I came little short.
What is your shortcoming?
Others should tell me, isn't it? If I knew, I would fix it. If I knew what's my shortcoming, I would fix it.
You are a person who self-evaluates, I'm sure, very well, who knows himself. If he knows the world or he feels that he knows the world, you know, must be knowing yourself. What is it?
See, this is…
I'm restless, like let me put it, I'm restless. I don't know how I'm talking because it's wonderful to listen to you, but I'm restless, I know it. So I think it's a shortcoming, I need to settle down. What is your shortcoming?
It's very difficult to explain this because you're looking at, okay, as a person everybody has pluses and minuses like this. It is not that I am all plus, no minus, I'm not thinking like that. It is just that it's very strange. I'm not really a person, that's my problem. I can, in any given moment, I will just make myself as it is necessary for that situation. Sometimes if it's not successful, I will adjust it a little more. So it's just that I'm made like this, if I sit like this by myself, I don't have a single thought on my mind. If I sit… sometimes I shut my doors for 4 or 5 days, I don't have a single thought. I don't look out of the window, I don't read, I don't do anything. So I don't have a personality as such. So I'm neither plus nor minus, I'm just like, at this moment I have to make myself up, okay, how should I be right now? How are the people around me? Accordingly I am. Otherwise, maybe in certain moments or in certain situations, I might not have succeeded as well as I could have because I did not grasp the situation at that moment, as I should have. But what is the plus in me, what is the minus in me? First of all, I don't know where is me, because I make it up. You also make it up, you're an actor. But I don't act, I really make it up. And everybody is making it up, but they believe it's true. I know it's not true. So, I don't know how to add pluses and minuses to me when I don't exist as a person.
When was the last time you cried?
Every day.
Not out of ecstasy, but out of feeling for somebody.
Every day, I would say.
Out of compassion, out of…
That's what just now, see, I'm like this. If I step on an ant, tears may come. If my mother dies, I'll simply sit there stoically, without a teardrop coming out of my eyes. Not because I have nothing for her. It is just that… it's very difficult to explain. When I want, I can go. When I don't want, I just keep quiet. So right now, Pallavi was playing that movie. I just saw those kids. I know every one of them in the village, they've all grown up now. This is some 4-year-old shot. I was just there 2 days ago and these kids were all over me. So when I looked at them, naturally a teardrop comes to me. Then the photographers come, I just suck it back. Okay? So I'm saying everything that happens within me, I've 100% made it a conscious process. If I want right now, I can go into tears. If I want right now, I can laugh. If I want, I can just sit still here without doing anything.
You can make a very good actor then. If you are so controlled with your emotions that you can… Right now I can see tears in your eyes. No, I mean, if we go into the close of Sadhguru, we know that. So you were while talking.
So…
What is… do you feel lonely?
Lonely? I've never been lonely.
Okay.
Because the Creator has never left me alone for a moment.
I suddenly felt a sense of loneliness in you in this fraction of a second.
The Creator has never left me alone for a moment.
Who is the Creator?
He's not left anybody alone for a moment. It's only because it's throbbing within you, you're alive, isn't it? Either you're conscious of it or not.
You said just now that your Creator has never left you alone.
Yes.
So who is that Creator?
What do you mean, who? There is creation.
My first question was…
There is creation, right? There is creation. Did you create it?
No.
No. So something obviously created it. The thing is, being human, you want to draw a human picture. Who is that? That's not the point. Here within you, it is in the human form. If there is a dog, it's in the dog form. If it's an ant, it's in the ant form. If it's a tree, it's in the tree form. But the source of creation is throbbing in everything. Because people are unconscious that such a huge thing is happening within them, there is a possibility of them feeling lonely. If when you're alone, if you feel lonely, obviously you're in bad company, isn't it?
It's a great journey to be talking to you, I must say. If you have to describe, before we go to the questions to the audience, if you have to describe yourself in one word, what will that word be? I usually do this exercise with my actors, students, because then we see that if that word is going to be… In fact, it's for all of you. In your mind, please think if you have to describe yourself in one word, what that word will be. And whether that word will be there, the same word after 5 years, 10 years, or was that word before 5 years. So if Sadhguru has to decide, and if he has to, tell me to describe himself in one word, one that… apart from mystic.
Okay. Would you consider wildlife as 2 words or 1 word?
What is the word? What?
Wildlife.
It's… for you it's 1 word.
1 word. So life, uncultured, uncultivated, just wild and as it is. That's me.
You're very warm also.
Just life, nothing else.
It's been very enriching talking to you. I must say that I feel rich. Okay, so questions from the audience? Yes, ma'am, in the red dupatta. Sorry, I don't know your name. You can tell me your name. Sorry? Sushmita. Okay, there's a mic coming for you, Sushmita.
Firstly, I'm overwhelmed to see both of you. And I went through the inner engineering program like 2 months back. I'm very thankful to Sadhguru for it. My question is related to what Sadhguru just said, that if you want to bring the difference in India, we all need to step out and do things on our part. So recently I was in a village of Bihar. I was doing things, I saw people there, we were finding out about the schemes there, that whether they are reaching the people or not. But the thing is, when I explain that to other people, they are very negative about it. Like, whatever you do, nothing is going to change, the system is not going to change. How do you change that kind of attitude?
That question is to you. I am only the question. I think if I have to answer that question, since he allowed me to do that, I think you have to carry on. You don't get bogged down by people. You cannot get bogged down. Even if you are alone, you must carry on. There's an incident that I went through when I used to work for Dilkush Special School for mentally challenged children. Sister Dolores, who was a Spanish nun, I told her that I want to teach here, but don't tell anybody because they will think that I'm doing it for publicity. So she said, then don't do it. I was a little surprised. She said, out of 100 people, if 4 people believe you, for us those 4 people are very important. So I just want to do that. That's what I…
So, see, not possible is a normal vein everywhere. Not possible, not possible. What is possible and not possible is not your business, that's nature's business. Your life is about doing what you really care for. Whether it's possible or not possible, why the hell are you concerned about it? That is nature's business. Nature will decide what is possible and not possible. Your business is just to work for what matters to you. If you don't do what you care for, if you do not create what matters to you, why are you living your life? What is the point of existing here if you're not doing what really matters to you? If you're doing some other rubbish which is safe, what is the point? Your life is worth it only if you're creating something that you care for, isn't it? If you're not creating what you care for, it's a wasted life before you live it. See, when we moved into the ashram in Coimbatore about 18 years ago, next to us is a rainforest. It's very rich and fantastic, but this particular hill right behind our ashram all the big trees were taken down in this one hill alone because there was an illegal furniture industry right opposite to where we are and we had to buy that out and dismantle it. They had removed all trees in this except the smaller ones. So in summer times it'll get brown and it radiates heat, and ashram temperatures would be at least 3 degrees to 4 degrees sometimes warmer than Coimbatore city. So I told our people, I think we should plant this mountain up. They said, Sadhguru, mountain planting? You made us do all kinds of crazy things, but planting up a mountain. Then I came with a simple formula. I said, you are not going to take plants and plant it, we will just do it this way. I created a contraption with which they poke. The main thing is why people have done it before and it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work is, they have set mindsets. They're not looking at… See, because you're not passionate enough, so you don't look hard enough. You plant a seed in the forest, animals walk on it, it gets plastered, black cotton soil, no seed will ever sprout because it gets hard. So we just poked with a conical metal thing, put 2 seeds, and I said, put sand, not soil. So put sand. About 21 days, a little over 3,000 volunteers. All we provided was midday meal on the mountain. They sang songs and like picnic we walked around. Today you come and see, all the trees in this mountain are about 15 years old and it remains green through the summer. Our temperatures are at least 3 degrees lower than Coimbatore city. And based on this, when some UN agencies came and they predicted in 1998, they came and made a prediction, by 2025, 60% of Tamil Nadu will be a desert. I don't like any kind of predictions, because predictions are made by people who are incapable of a plan in their life, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're not taking human aspiration into consideration, you're just taking cold statistic and trying to decide the future of the world. So I said, let me see it for myself, and I traveled around. I just drove across Tamil Nadu in a week's time, and I saw that the prediction was wrong because in my estimate it would happen much sooner than 2025. Then I thought what to do, because Tamil Nadu is one region on the planet which has an agricultural history of 12,000 years of farming on the same land. Some places the same communities and same families have been existing for 12,000 years. They've been doing farming. The only other place which has such history is some parts of South America. Nowhere else there's a 12,000 year history of agriculture. 12,000 years this land has nurtured us. In one generation, we're going to turn it into a desert. It didn't look like a good idea to me. So I just made a barefoot calculation. Tamil Nadu's green cover is 16.5%. National aspiration is 33%. How many trees should we plant? I just made a simple barefoot calculation and arrived at 114 million trees. If you plant in 6 to 8 years, in 15 to 20 years, we'll have 33% green cover. So I called a group of people and said, we need to plant 114 million trees. Their eyeballs flew, Sadhguru, do you know what that number is? I asked them, what's your population, Tamil population? They said 62 million. 62 million people. If all of us plant one tree today, nurture it for 2 years, plant one more, what's the number? You got it? Why is it? Even a beggar on the street can plant one tree, isn't it? It doesn't need any capability. Only willingness is missing, isn't it? The necessary concern is missing. Because we don't understand how life happens. We think life happens out of supermarkets and shops. Life happens out of the planet. If you don't nourish it, it will not happen. So, what is possible and not possible? Leave that to nature. Today we've planted over 14 million trees in 6 or 7 years now. Tamil Nadu's green cover has gone up officially by 5.2%. The Google Maps show that over 7% increases happen. This is the only part of Asia where actually green cover is going up. Tamil Nadu is the only place where this is happening. And I want you to know, we did not give up our life to do this. We did not give up our life to do this. To turn this mountain green, we worked only about 22 days. To make these 14 million trees happen, we have worked, a certain group of people are working full-time, rest of us have just pitched in here and there, that's all. You don't have to give up your life to make these things happen. It is just that getting everybody involved is the big thing.
Correct. Yes, yes sir. Mic to this gentleman, please. Forward, forward. Yes.
Namaskar, Sadhguru. So my name is Kamal, I'm a 42-year-old professional.
Little closer to the microphone.
I work in a complex technical environment, so just so there's some perspective. So here's my take on it so far. It's a really big rock of millions of rocks that are floating around out there.
It's not
Can
clear.
you keep
You
the
must
mic
hold
closer to your face, please? That's right.
There's one big rock that we're on. It's one of millions of them floating out there. There's 6 billion of us like ants living on it. We recently turned clever, about 5,000 years for us, and we did
sorry,
pretty good.
I'm really not getting it. You must hold the microphone like
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's quite safe, you must…
Okay. Okay, we'll start again.
Yes.
So there's 6 billion people living on this world. We recently turned clever, maybe about 5,000 years ago for us, and Western civilization maybe 2,000–3,000 years, and they think they're very clever. There's no mass consciousness on the planet. There's no combined or individual instinct for self-preservation of the environment. We have limited resources. The planetary system is completely out of balance due to our influence. We have faulty governance. The only form of governance that I think I like so far is a benevolent dictatorship, which you run in the ashram, and I think that's the only thing that works so far. There are separations of every kind, country, religion, race, color, creed, status.
What's your question?
Where's the hope? Where's the hope? What's it going to take to change this mess?
Listen. I mean, all these statistics are there, that's exactly what he was saying. You're looking at all the horrible things. You're not looking at all the beautiful things. The earth is still spinning on time. Sun is coming up every day in the morning. Flowers are blossoming. The earth is still rich. Human beings though they lost a little bit, they still have their brains in place. So, look at the possibility rather than going on looking at what's not working. I am not saying we should not understand what's not working. Yes, we have to understand what's not working. But don't fill yourself with that. Fill yourself with a dream to create a possibility. Why sitting here, a young man like you going on saying this happening, that's happening, where is the hope? You'll only get depressed. You getting depressed is not a solution. You getting depressed is one more problem on the planet. Yes? Already we have enough.
That's a good one.
And I wanted to just get up and look at all these people. They're nice, healthy, vibrant people. It is just that life has not hit them hard enough to get up and do something right now. And apart from that, their daily grind is keeping them so busy, their own family, their own home, their own children, their own stuff is keeping them too busy for them to be going out and doing something. If you create an opportunity, I'm sure any number of them will participate. We have not created sufficient fora which is straight enough, sincere enough for many people to identify themselves with. This is exactly what we've been trying to create in South India, that first thing is brutally cleanliness. Cleanliness will not come easily, I want you to understand. When 10,000 people gather, a few million people gather, to keep the place clean, clean of corruption, corruption does not mean somebody has become an official or a minister and taking money from somebody. Small things, you know, you push the neighbor's child and want to push your child in the front. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. And it is just a question of how powerful you are, that much you push. People who are powerful, when they push, it is visible. When you do it, you think it's all right. No. So this corruption starts. To keep this clean, you have to be brutal. People in the book are writing, I'm very compassionate. Most of the day I am horribly brutal, chopping down people for small things that went off the line. If we did not do that, you would not see the atmosphere that you see in the ashram. You do not see the cleanliness that we see in our movements. Though millions of people are working, they function like this. 1 rupee will not go unaccounted. So, this will not come easy. Brutality. Every day what I do is not compassion, not love, just brutality, really.
Wonderful. Also, there's a very beautiful line which says that failure is an event, never a person. So, I think you have your answer. And as Sadhguru said, let's not have one more problem on the planet. Yes, please. Kiranji wants to ask a question. Yes.
I'm sure it's for him.
Not for me.
It's not working.
All the questions for Anupam still remain unanswered, even though I've asked them very often. So I won't attempt it again. But I want to say that I'm very privileged to finally see you in person, and have been wanting to do so for many years, but somehow it has never been able to… it hasn't happened. Your book, Mystics Musings, which I read many years ago when I lost my brother, my younger brother, and it was a great tragedy in the family and something that I was finding very difficult to cope with. It gave me great amount of courage and made me feel much better. I don't know why it did. Maybe some works of philosophy take you into a realm where you're supposed, where it just makes you feel better that you're just a part of a greater design and nothing to feel so sorrowful about. Also, it talked a lot about spirits. It talked a lot about life being a continuous process. So there are about 100 questions I want to ask you, but there's one thing I've been very curious about after reading the book. In that you write about when you and your wife, everybody was constructing the Dhyanalingam, and you talk about how her grasp of life slipped from her. It became the thread of life or the grasp of life, something to that effect, became very fragile when she could not hold on to it and she passed away. What exactly did you mean by that?
See, the life within you, the life within you manages to stick to the physicality of who you are. We have already been through this. Physicality is something that you gathered. It is not you, it is material. It is just a piece of this planet. What you gathered from the planet, if it has to stick to the life that you are, you must be in a certain level of reverberance. If you drop in intensity below a certain point, you can't hold it. That is called as dying of old age. There is no such thing in the world anymore as dying of old age, because doctors have decided you cannot die of old age, you can only die of a heart attack or a liver failure or a kidney failure or something. You cannot die of old age anymore. If you have seen anybody close up who are dying of old age, you can see his eyes become feeble, life becomes feeble. It's like the body is struggling to hold it, but it can't hold because it's become too feeble. If the reverberation goes below a certain level of intensity, it can't stick to the body, it will leave. So that is generally understood as leaving peacefully, because without struggle it just passed on. That's the reason why the word passing on has come. You're supposed to pass on, you're not supposed to kick out. So that is if the intensity drops. Another way to leave is you raise the pitch of life's intensity to such a pitch, it went beyond normal pitch, then also you leave the body. So spiritual sadhana is trying to get the pitch of your life to the highest point, because only if the intensity of life is high, it's like the voltage is high, that's why the lights are bright. If your voltage is low, the lights will be dim, your awareness will be dim, your perception will be dim, all you will know is just survival process. So you want to pitch it up. So when you pitch it up beyond a certain point, there is always a danger that you will slip out. So we will fix certain things. We will fix certain things when a spiritual aspirant is progressing with a certain rapidity, we will fix the body in a certain way so that that cannot happen. Just yesterday I was, at the ashram satsang when we were there, one lady asked why women are asked to wear, the toe rings. What do you call this in Hindi? The toe ring, not…
Toe ring,
you're not
yeah.
wearing.
Bichwa.
Yes. So it's called mettu in South. Why women are asked to wear toe rings when they get married? Because marriage was supposed to be such a huge experience that they could leave the body. At the age of 8, they would marry them. They will never see each other till they're 14 or 15. But emotionally, psychologically, she is cultivated to believe that her husband is like God. When she meets him, life will explode. That possibility in the child's mind has built up. When she is physically mature, she is brought into marriage. Because in this country, in this culture, there is no business, there is no marriage, there is no child, there is no family. Everything is just a tool towards your liberation and mukti. You get married because you want to use that as a tool to your liberation. You raise children because you want to use that as a tool to your liberation. You become a sannyasi because you want to use that. It does not matter what you do. Everything is towards your mukti or liberation. You feel an ecstatic sense within you simply because of the union within yourself, not because of what somebody else is doing. So now in a marriage, what somebody else is doing or what your husband or wife is doing doesn't matter, just the way you are is an explosive experience. This is how a lot of women lived in the past, because the process was very scientific and it was done properly. So they put this metal on the toes and also on the ring finger always, because if there is metal and certain strategic places in your body, you will not accidentally leave your body. So when you do spiritual sadhana, when we notice somebody is becoming very intense, first thing is, I will give them a simple copper ring, which they must wear, and they cannot remove without you also. They must wear and they cannot remove without permission. Because if this simple metal is on the ring finger, when they get into certain states of exuberance, by accident they will not slip out of the body. So she got into such exuberant states. Naturally, certain little bit of jewelry things were there. These things were never discussed till that point. There are many things I refuse to discuss because devices will work well only when people do not know how it works. So we just put it on people, we never explain. But when this situation happened, I had to explain what happened. She sat there on a full moon day evening with everybody. There were people around, and after 5 minutes, it is in the shrine, she got up and went. My eyes are closed, I knew she got up. I got a little irritated, because nobody ever gets up once they sit down. Till we say it is time, nobody ever gets up. And of all the people, my wife getting up and going, a little irritation in me. Why is she getting up of all the people? Then I ignored it and I sat down. After 5 minutes, she came and sat down. In another 7-8 minutes, she just went like that. When I looked, she was gone, with a big smile on her face. Then I looked, she has removed her nose ring, she's removed her bangles, she removed her toe rings. See, she did not know intellectually, but at that moment she felt this is what is stopping her. And she pulled out all those things, kept next to the wash basin and came back. And she sat down within 7-8 minutes. But this is not something that happened accidentally. She announced this almost 9 months ahead of time. She had prepared, my girl who was only 7 years at that time, that she's going to leave in this month, but it happened 1 month early for various reasons, so that's a different aspect. But this is not new in this country. Any number of yogis just sit down, announce to everybody and leave their body. This whole process started 1 year before that. 1 year before that, there was a yogi called Nirmalananda in the Biligiri Rangana Betta in Karnataka. Anybody been there? BR Hills, you been there? Oh, it's a fabulous place. So, he lived there. For 14 years he lived in silence, just in the 4-acre ashram, he never stepped out of it. I met him in a strange way. I used to trek in those mountains. So, I go alone and trek for a week, 10 days when I run out of food and there's no way I can procure anything. I live out of the forest, but when I'm done, I come out and ride off. I park my motorcycle somewhere, I trekked for almost 5-6 days. From it is rainy season, head to toe I'm in slush, okay? I'm really drenched with mud and everything. Then I came out and I was extremely hungry, I had not eaten for 2 days. I was very, very hungry. So there's no hotels, nothing there. So I had heard about this ashram. Me and spirituality were impossible at those times, that never occurred to me, I was just, in a different mode altogether. So I went to this ashram, there were about 15 steps to climb. I wouldn't get off my motorcycle at all those days, I just rode up the steps and went and parked my motorcycle leaning it onto the door, wall next to his door. And he came and he looked at me and he grinned. Then I said, I'm hungry. But he was not talking, so he said, come inside. And he made me sit down. He had a little, baking thing, he baked some bread for me. All he had was this bread and honey. So he gave me bread and honey, I ate up 2 loaves of bread for making up for 2 days. Then after that, we developed a silent relationship. Whenever I went there, I would take a bunch of bananas or something and he would give me a can of honey. This transaction went on. Many years later, after things happened to me in a big way, everything about my life changed. After about 10 years, I went to see him. He didn't recognize me because, And I asked, don't you recognize me? And I smiled. He said, He said, oh, you are the guy on the motorcycle. So at the age of 73, he decided when Uttarayana comes, you know what's Uttarayana? The sun's relationship with the earth, when it moves from southern hemisphere to north, you heard of Bhishma waiting to die at that time. So he said, when Uttarayana comes, I want to leave my body. I went there with my wife and daughter, and then he cried and he said, I have built a samadhi, I'm doing all this, but I'm afraid that I may not be able to do it. Then I started discussing the technicalities of what it is, what makes it happen, what stops it, what is it that you need to do, and these kind of things. So, my wife Vijay was also there, she was listening to all this. Then we were driving back. By then I had graduated to 4 wheels, and we were driving back. Then she was silently crying. I said, what happened? She said, I also want to live like him. I said, when are you going to go? I was trying to make a joke out of it. She said, no, this is what I want to do. I said, why? What's wrong with your life? She said, no, everything is right with my life. My outside is good, my inside is feeling wonderful. I want to live when I'm like this, not when something is wrong with me. Then, as a husband, as a father of the girl, I'm trying to discourage her. But as a guru, definitely I want somebody to go as far as they can go. So from that day she asked for what to do. I gave her some simple sadhana, never believing that she will go to that pitch and intensity. Because she was not somebody who was steeped in spiritual sadhana. She's just a very alive, she's either up or down, She's either absolutely exuberant or down. She doesn't know the in-between. She's not somebody whom you would consider a yogi or established in sadhana, nothing like that. She's a very exuberant person, and that's all it takes. That you're alive, that's all it takes. It's not that you know this or that, you're just 100% alive. That's the only qualification you need. And she started working towards it, she announced it 9 months ahead, we tried to sabotage it in so many ways to slow it down, but it went the way it went.
Yes, please. We'll take 2 more questions and then I think… Yes, ma'am. Mic for the lady, please. आ रहे.
First course of Isha Yoga. I'm having difficulty in cutting the cord. Please help me with that.
She's having difficulty in cutting the cord.
With my attachment to my family, to my children, I get very easily disturbed by what happens within my close circle. Please help me with that.
Oh, I never said you must cut the cord. I'm just telling you, unfortunately, your motherly cord is too limited right now. Just expand it a little bit. Just make it connect to every piece of life on this planet, rather than just to a handful. Beautiful. Why do you want to cut your cord? Where is the reason to cut your cord? The reason why… See, please understand this. There is a difference between involvement and entanglement. If you do not know involvement, you will never know life. The only way to know life is with involvement. If you are not involved, would you know anything? Forget about spirituality. Would you know anything in your life if you are not involved? The only way to know anything in your life is with involvement. What is lacking in people is lack of involvement. So, when involvement becomes discriminatory, it becomes entanglement. Let your involvement become indiscriminate. The earth that you walk upon, the food that you eat, the water that you drink, the air that you breathe, and the very space in which you exist. See if you can absolutely involve yourself with everything. Because The life that you are involved. If you are not involved with the air that you breathe, you would be dead, isn't it? You are anyway involved. You just have to become conscious that this is the only way life happens. You have to see that you're consciously involved. Right now you're unconsciously involved. If you're unconsciously involved, it looks like one big burden. If you're consciously involved, it'll become blissful. Is your life right now, do you know scientifically today we can prove every subatomic particle in your body is right now in communication with the whole cosmos. Such a big phenomena, you're trying to ignore, that is your crime. You bearing your children, being married, that is not your crime. Your crime is you're trying to ignore such a big phenomena, which is the basis of your life and creation. Because you ignore that, you suffer. Not because you're involved with your family, you suffer. Because you're trying to ignore something so big. Right now your life is like this. Is it true that today sun came up on time for the season? Yes? Planet is spinning on time, flowers blossomed, everything in these many galaxies is happening absolutely perfectly well. But you have one nasty thought crawling through your head and it's a bad day. You don't have a perspective of who you are. You think too much of yourself. If you… see, right now your whole experience of life is limited to the physical form that you are. As a physical form, what are you in this cosmos, tell me? In your home you may be something, on the street not much, in the town nothing. In the cosmos you're not even a speck of dust. Please get the perspective right. As a physical existence, you're really nothing, isn't it? If you understand this, you would know, you would look at everything with absolute wonder and involvement. Then, one little thought, one little emotion that is flowing through your mind wouldn't be important because it's not even a concern. It is something that you are creating, isn't it? What's happening in your mind is your making. Yes or no? Can I tell you a bad joke?
Please. Yes.
Honest.
Can we have the last question now, Sadhguru? A joke. Okay. I'm so sorry. हो सके तो मुझे माफ कर देना.
A lady went to sleep.
A lady?
A lady went to sleep. In her sleep, she had a dream. In her dream, she saw a hunk of a man standing there, staring at her. He started coming closer and closer and closer and closer. He came so close, she could even feel his breath, and she trembled, not in fear. And then she asked, "What will you do to me?" The man said, "Well, lady, it's your dream." So, what is happening in your head is your bloody dream, isn't it? Now your problem is not that life is not happening the way you want it, even your bloody dream is not happening the way you want it. This is your problem. At least let the dreams happen the way you want it. The world doesn't happen the way you want it, that's different. If your dream happened the way you want it, you would be still joyful, isn't it?
I hope you got your answer, ma'am. Yes, hello? Up there, yes, I think…
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
In the other world, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, please speak up, it's okay.
Yes, yes, we'll try and… Your basic question is, what is awareness? That you are up there. I think that lady asked a question, what is awareness? Let Sadhguru answer that. Is it related to that kind of a question? Okay, then I think let Sadhguru answer that. That no is very firm, I understand that. I somehow feel what is your question going to be. Okay. What is awareness, Sadhguru?
Aliveness is awareness. You know that you're alive only because you're aware. Only thing is, right now your awareness is very limited, it's in low voltage. You just have to pump it up. You just have to increase the pitch of the voltage, that's all. It's not that you're not aware. Only because you're aware, you know that you're here. Otherwise you wouldn't even know. Suppose, is there anybody sleeping in the dark corners? Suppose somebody's gone like this, he doesn't even know where he is, isn't it? Not only he does not know where he is, he does not even know whether he is or he isn't. Isn't it? So you are aware, that's why you know you're here, that's why you know you are. But now, it is not strong enough. It is not lighting up the whole space, it is only lighting one corner of your life. It is giving you enough awareness to survive in the world. It is not giving you enough awareness to know the nature of life. Now when we say awareness, awareness, we are talking about only heightening your awareness, not creating some new awareness. Your awareness is good enough for survival. Is that enough for you? Or do you want to know the very nature of your existence? If you want to know the very nature of your existence, then you need to pitch up your awareness to a higher level, otherwise it will not happen. Please, this.
Yes, the lady with the no. We have all eyes for you now. What's your name? Mrinalini.
Why don't you shoot at him?
There's a photograph near the samadhi of your wife which sent shivers, Whose photograph is that? Okay.
Oh. See, every life that is here is capable of joy, is capable of blissfulness, is capable of ecstasy. The only problem is they're not able to sustain it. The problem is of sustainability. Everybody knows moments of all this. But to be there, you have not built the necessary foundations. See, if there is a wall, you can jump up and have a peep. Or you can go on a trampoline and have a little longer peep, but you'll come down. But if you build a ladder, which is not so romantic as jumping, but if you climb up, you're across the wall. So, instead of calling it by different names like blissfulness, ecstasy, this, that, pleasantness, highest level of pleasantness, this is what every human being wants. If your body is pleasant, we say it is health. If it becomes very pleasant, we say it's pleasure. If your mind is pleasant, we say this is peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we say this is joy. If your emotions are pleasant, we say this is love. If it becomes very pleasant, we say it's compassion. If your very life energies are pleasant, we say this is bliss. If it is very pleasant, we say this is ecstasy. If your surroundings have become pleasant, we say you're a success. This is all every human being is seeking, isn't it? Nothing more. You want your insides pleasant, you want your outsides pleasant. This is all a human being is seeking. Outside pleasantness, you need people's cooperation. Yes? It is a craft. You have to arrange, you have to compromise, you have to deal with situations properly. Creating outside pleasantness is a certain talent, a certain capability. Not everybody is able to do the same thing on the outside. But when it comes to interiority, all of us are equally capable. Nobody has come better endowed than the other. Every human being is capable of the same thing in the inward dimension. So, somebody is sitting in a state of ecstasy, how to get there? Is it possible for me? Don't even ask the question, is it possible? If it is possible for me, it is for sure possible for you. But what I do on the outside, is it possible for you? Maybe, may not be. But what I do on the inside, is it possible for me? Definitely possible. Inner experience, nobody can be denied. External capabilities are different. So, what needs to be done? Whatever you've been through, the inner engineering is the fundamental. If you get this one thing right, you will naturally grow into that. The problem is, every day you keep undoing it. You understand? So every day in the morning you do this, now we're giving the Isha Kriya CD also all over Mumbai. But every day in the morning you give yourself a 3-minute crash course in inner engineering. You will see, in 3 months' time, you will be feeling very pleasant. In 6 months' time, if you simply look at a tree, you will burst into ecstasy. If you look at a cloud, you will burst into ecstasy. If you close your eyes, you will get there. No matter what, you just need an excuse, you will become like that, for sure. Because these are the fundamentals. That's why I'm saying it's engineering, because if you want to engineer something, you have to do it right, otherwise it'll not work. You can't somehow… See, you want to build this building, you can't somehow place something and hope it will stand. It will not stand. You have to place it in a certain way, then only the building stands up, isn't it? Similarly, you have to hold yourself in a certain way, then only this experience holds up. Otherwise, moments up and then down.
Also, I feel, with your permission, I think if you depend on others to make you happy, I think there's a possibility you may not be happy. If you decide that you need to decide to be happy, then there is a possibility.
Why are you underestimating her husband?
Okay. I think it's we have to stop, Sadhguru, shall we?
Just 5 minutes more.
5 minutes, okay. There's a time given to me, that's why.
Good evening, all of you, and my pranams to Guruji and Anupamji. I'm Vijay Shankar. I'm from the media and also a classical dancer. So, Guruji, I would like to know, man is always craving for more and more and not happy at all with whatever he gets. Of course, you just explained now how happiness is an internal state of being. So normally, what would you tell to normal people as to how to get peace and happiness in their lives?
आसान क्वेश्चन पूछा आपने।
The problem is not that human beings are craving for more, they are craving too little. Right now, when human consciousness is able to grasp the whole cosmos, instead of craving for that, they're craving for an apartment in Mumbai. Just stupid. So their suffering is not because they're craving for more, they're craving for too little. They conjuice even in their craving. That is their problem. Please crave for everything, you will be wonderful. There'll be no misery. You are craving for little things, that's your problem. When such a big possibility is there, going for this is it's criminal, I would say. So it is because of this crime they are suffering. They are being punished for this crime, not for craving too much. They are not craving enough. When creation and creator is possible, they just want this little piece of property. That's all they're thinking of. They can't think beyond that. So they suffer. For limiting themselves, not because of craving for too much.
One last question we'll take. Sadhguru.
That's a burning question.
Okay.
Sadhguru, I have deep gratitude towards you. I've read an article about you from you in Times of India, and I was really amazed. And that led to, a strong feeling. I just can't imagine. I still have that feeling. So that connection is with you. So I have been, since childhood, I have been ignored a lot of times. I feel I have been manipulated, So I'm not able to understand, what is happening actually. I always go through these things every now and then.
Okay. So if you've been ignored by everybody around you, it's a fortune. You have life for yourself. Most children are suffering the attention of the parents. If they're ignored, they would be just happy doing their own thing. So, you just sit there and listen to me. Immediately the question is, what is the prayer? It's not a prayer. You need to understand, there are no prayers in this culture. There are only invocations. Prayers are a recent happening. Prayer means you're trying to talk to somebody. Invocation means you're trying to bring out what is the greatest thing within you. Now, what this chant, to put it in a simplest form, is everything. The earth that I walk upon, the air that I breathe, the water that I drink, the food that I eat, the very space in which we exist, the hand… The only thing that you can do is to be absolutely involved with this, but still not distort the hand of the creation. You do not distort the hand. What you do is an aberration to what the Creator intends. The intelligence behind creation, what it is intending, to be in tune with that, not to do some rubbish of your own thing. So, this is a journey from being a piece of creation to being the creator. Every human being is capable of this. It's my wish and my blessing. This should become the reality in your life. Thank you very much for being here.